So starting up this video with the best brawler in Brawl Ball, we have B. So when you think of Brawl Ball, you always think of tanks, assassins, or just any sort of aggressive brawlers, but the reason why I picked B instead of picking any other aggressive brawler is because B just the perfect counter to all these tanks and assassins. B is very good at keeping control over the map, killing aggressive brawlers over and over again, and she's also pretty good against any long-range brawlers. She doesn't only work in close maps like other tank counters. For example, Surge only works in close maps. But B does work pretty decently in close maps because of her high damage output, but she's probably the best brawler in those open Brawl Ball maps. Ever since they reworked gadgets, and B has been just getting better and better because she can just keep on spamming out her gadgets and getting as much value as possible with literally no effort. You can play the other turret gadget, but I suggest the other one just to allow yourself to spam them out as many times as possible. So next up in the list, the best brawler in Knockout, I went with Jean. So a lot of other brawlers like snipers or throwers, you have Piper, Nani, Mandy, Sprout, and Angelo, but Jean is just way better than those brawlers. The ability to pull a brawler with his super is just so good for Knockout because as you guys know, if a brawler dies in Knockout, then his team is most likely to lose that round. Jean isn't only good because of his super, Jean's main attack is very good at chipping down opponents or just preventing them from healing if they are very low on HP. Jean's main attack, small projectiles, have probably the longest range in the game. You probably shouldn't aim them, you just spam out shots and get free supercharge. His star power that heals nearby teammates is literally one of the best star powers in Knockout. It helps Jean's team to instantly rage in its health if his teammates are low on HP. His ghost gadget is just very good at finishing off kills or just pushing the opponents back because it actually deals a lot of damage. And there are literally no way for the opponents to dodge away from it. So next up in the list, the best brawler in Bounty, I went with Gus. So if you guys didn't know, Gus is probably the most underrated brawler right now, and he doesn't only work in Bounty, you can also pick him in Knockout. Gus deals a lot of damage, and you can actually land those shots onto opponent because his main attack has such a wide range, so you can just land shots pretty easily. Snipers are usually squishy and have very little HP, but Gus has quite a lot of HP for a sniper, so that alone helps him to win a lot of interactions against other snipers just because he has more HP. Even if Gus got low on HP, his super would provide him with a lot of extra HP and damage that he can just keep pushing up the map instead of normally falling back and healing. His gadget allows him to instantly get a kill onto vulnerable brawlers when he lands only one shot after he charges up the ghost, which also gives him a big advantage because opponents would literally be scared of getting hit once by Gus because he can technically one-shot them. And as I said, hitting shots with Gus shouldn't be that hard thanks to his wide attack range. So by far the best brawler in Solo Showdown, I went with Surge. So there are some other good options like Kit, Shelly, or even Griff, but it feels like Surge was literally made to be a Showdown brawler. He has a lot of HP, he deals a lot of damage, he has a fast reload speed, and he has a lot of mobility with his super, which helps him to escape if needed. Surge's super also helps him to kill those tanks and assassins easily, and that's very important because those types of brawlers are the most relevant in the Showdown meta. His gadget is insanely underrated by the majority of players. It basically gives him all his ammo back after he runs out it, which literally allows Surge to kill tanks and high HP brawlers very easily. Although Surge struggles in some open maps because he doesn't have the range to compete in those maps, but he's the best pick in all the other mid-range or close maps, which the reason why I choose him over a brawler like Kit. Surge also counters pretty much all the relevant brawlers in Solo Showdown like Kit, Shelly, Buzz, and any tank or an assassin. So make sure to use Surge more in Solo Showdown. So next up in the list, the best brawler in Heist, we have Melody. So ever since she was released, and Melody is always on the top brawlers in Heist. There are other good brawlers in Heist like Chuck, but surprisingly Chuck doesn't work in every single Heist map. There are a lot of maps with a lot of walls and bushes, so Chuck can't even set up his path. On the other hand, Melody is very good on pretty much all the Heist maps. She can even work in open maps because she can just ignore all the snipers and go straight to the safe. In close maps, she can also ignore tanks or brawlers that counter her and still go straight to the safe. She deals a lot of damage to the safe in such a short time, and she can reach the Heist safe over and over again using her super. Even after they reworked Heist, and she's still one of the best brawlers there. I think she even got better because brawlers like Crow or Colette got significantly worse because they can't deal the maximum amount of damage they used to deal before Heist got reworked. Melody also has a gadget which gives her a shield to help her deal even more damage to the Heist safe. So a lot of other brawlers are very good in Brawl Arena, but I chose Clancy as the best one. With Clancy, you can just farm your levels by just hitting robots, and you can reach his last level in the very beginning of the match. Clancy has such an insane DPS that he can literally delete the enemy's base in like 10 seconds, which obviously makes him the best brawler in Brawl Arena. You can go straight up to the base and try to destroy it as early as possible, or you can just wait for the kaiju and kill him instantly to get those insane buffs for you and your teammates. After you get those buffs, you're most likely to win the match regardless of the opponent's comp. You can also go to the mid after you kill the brawler on the lane, because in the mid you can find a lot of bots which you can farm XP from, which will help you to kill the opponents a lot easier when they spawn again. You should try to kill brawlers that are on a high level to get as much XP as possible off of them. So for the best brawler in Hot Zone, I went with Juju. So of course brawlers like Lou, Barley, Bo, and Amber are all very good in Hot Zone. One of them might even be better than Juju, but the main reason on why I picked Juju is basically because she's insanely easy to play. Whether you're a pro, average, or a new player, you can always pick Juju on Hot Zone and you're good to go. She doesn't require any skill to land her shots onto opponents. She charges her super pretty quickly, which you can either use as a meat shield or you can use to distract your opponents to get as much zone time as possible. You can also do some sneaky strategies with Juju, like using your gadget while in bushes to become invisible and surprise enemies with 3 shots right after you get too close to them, or to keep switching between environments you're standing on to match your needs. Whether you want extra range to kill a brawler far away so you stand on bushes, or you need more damage to kill those assassins and tanks instantly if they get too close to you. But the slow attack, the one that you can shoot while standing on water, is very underrated and you should try it out more. So next up in the list, the best brawler in Duels, we have Kit. So ever since they released Kit, and he has been absolutely dominating Duels, there are hardly any brawlers that are good in Duels but counter Kit. Kit gets a huge advantage with his invisibility gadget because it allows Kit to sneak up the map to snipers or any vulnerable brawlers and kill them easily. Kit also doesn't require any skill at all. So if you find yourself struggling at pushing trophies, then I suggest you to play Kit in Duels and you'll just win 99% of your matches. You can also abuse Kit's automatic supercharging passive ability by selecting brawlers that have very powerful supers as a second pick after Kit, because Kit can charge up his super pretty quickly, so you can just get a free super on those strong brawlers if you get killed while playing Kit. Unlike what the majority of players think, Kit is actually very good in open maps because Kit can easily sneak up to snipers and vulnerable brawlers with his gadget. So next up in the list, the best brawler in Gem Grab, I went with Belle. So ever since Belle was released, and she has been pretty good in all the passive game modes, she's particularly good in Gem Grab because she can put so much control on the map, she deals quite a lot of damage with her main attack, and she prevents enemies from grouping up when they need to because her shots keep bouncing between opponents. If the enemy comp has a very good brawler, or a brawler that has a lot of HP, then Belle can just shoot her super onto that brawler, which will then make that brawler significantly weaker throughout the entire match. After they reworked gadgets, and Belle can just fill up the map with a lot of her traps using her gadgets. And these traps come in clutch whenever Belle's team is getting pushed back or just losing control. Belle secretly counters all the gene comps with her just main attack. She also gets a pretty decent shield if she hits a shot, which helps her to stay alive for longer. Hitting shots with Belle is very easy because her shots are quite fast. She also has a quite fast reload speed for a sniper, which can help you to shoot more shots, increasing your chances of hitting opponents.